am Chyn Yu Rung. I am the Awakening Foundation. My position is the Secretary General, and we are a feminist group in Taiwan. Our work mainly focus on we initiate reforms because we are a non-governmental organization, and we initiate reforms concerning policies and the legislations, and we try to better our society to ensure women's rights and gender equality. Awakening Foundation established in 1982, and back then we are a magazine publisher at first, and we transformed into a foundation in 1987. The establishment of Awakening Foundation is intertwined with the history of the democratization process in Taiwan, because in 1980s we are actually under martial law, and we are not a democratic country back then. So our founding mothers actually participated in the movement striving for democracy. And they found that there are so many men and women are trying to achieve democratization in Taiwan, the activists, and but they think the movement of democratization is kind of gender blinded. They think they want to awake the mindset of Taiwanese women to let them know they have the same rights as men. But because back in 1980s, there are no one in Taiwan talk about such issues. So they think that we should try to fight for democracy, but also we have to fight for gender equality and women's rights at the same time. So they found magazine publisher. The publisher named the magazine named Awakening Magazine. So that's what they founded in 1982. And in 1987, the martial law in Taiwan is lifted. So we can transform into a foundation. So we can focus on many political activities, such as we try to achieve some reforms to encourage women participate in politics and in public spheres. And we also amended laws to ensure there the women's rights in marriage law can be secured. And also we initiated an amendment specifically to better the gender equality situation in the workplace. So, and also there is another law initiated to ensure gender equality in education and in schools.
Can you explain these 3 points?
I can give like 2 or 3 examples.
Yes.
For example, in the 1980s, the civil code in Taiwan says that if you are a married woman, you have to live with your husband. You cannot live, you have no freedom to live in other places. If your husband insisted that you should live with him, so you cannot live in other places. So that was written in our civil code. And if you do not live with your husband, but your husband insisted that you have to live with him, then the husband can take you to the court and says that you violated the law. So back then, in the 1980s, we know people read newspapers, not social media. So everyone reads newspapers, and we have a very huge page in everyday's newspaper that was an advertisement column. And so you can see some little advertisement posted by some husbands. They post a picture of their wife and they expose all her personal information in the column, like her name and her ID number and where she lives and how many children she has, and says that this is my wife, and she runs away. And I post this advertisement here to notify her that if she sees this, she have to come back home before some date, or I will take this event to the court. So that was you can see a lot of such advertisement in 1980s, maybe in early 1990s, in the newspaper in Taiwan. It's everywhere. Awakening Foundation collaborated with many women's groups in Taiwan, and we amended the civil code concerning education rights. The girls are the same as boys. So, but in the schools, there was a lot of situations like events of sexual harassment in the school that happened, and also discrimination against students, like gay or lesbian students. So that was widespread in the education system, and many teachers do not know how to cope with such thing.
But who harassment from who?
Some between students, and some is teachers toward students.
Young students. So I mean,
Younger students and the college students also. Actually, there was a parade. It's not like a parade, or it's a protest action initiated by female college students in 1994. They walk. Many of them walk in the street to protest that they say they have encountered sexual harassment, mainly from their professors. And there are a lot of colleges collaborate together to protest against this situation in 1994. And so there was a discussion that we should have gender equality education in the education system. We have to establish that, and also we have to establish system to cope with or to prevent the sexual harassment situations in the campus. So there was Gender Equality Education Act passed in 2004. So the act asked all the schools in Taiwan, you have to implement gender equality education in your school. And also you have to establish formal process if any students or teachers want to report the sexual harassment events. You have to establish a process to investigate and also to cope with this situation. So after the act passed, all the schools have the obligation to prevent sexual harassment and to implement gender equality education. In 1990s, our Awakening Foundation actually implemented a plan that we read the textbooks in the school, especially in the elementary school, and we collected a lot of materials in the textbooks, and there we found that there are many gender stereotypes in the textbooks. Like if you like in the first year of the elementary school, the students read books that says the in the morning everybody wakes up and the father read the newspaper and the mother take care of the breakfast. So, and also there are pictures in the textbooks to show that to the students the gender stereotypes. So we collected a lot of materials that says that we do not want such things, such stereotypes to be taught in the school. And also, there was an event in 2004. There was a student in southern Taiwan named Ye Yongzhi. And he was a very sweet boy, and some students thought that he was a little bit feminine, and he was bullied in the school. And one day he went to the toilet, and he found dead there. Nobody knows why till today, but everybody talks that why he has to go to the toilet alone during the class. He was trying to avoid to meet people in the toilet, so he go to that there alone, and he was found dead there. So this event reminds everyone in Taiwan that gender equality education is very important, because it has, if you do not focus on that, you might violate the rights of education of a student and maybe their lives. So that event has raised the process to pass the Gender Equality Education Act in Taiwan.
Many magazines about the law on same-sex marriage and the possibility to adopt children. Can you explain how you arrived to this law, to this change?
It's actually a very long process. We have the first same-sex marriage proposal in the Congress. Actually, that happened in 2012. Actually, that's the same year I getting Awakening Foundation, but the law was suspended for years, and I think it's in, but the active groups still strive to pass the same-sex marriage law, but the conservatives are strongly against such initiative, and maybe in 2016. There was a French professor who works in National Taiwan University, and he passed away. He has a male partner, and he himself is a male. So there are a lot of stories that students mourn the professor because he cannot get married in Taiwan with his partner, and many same-sex couples come out to say that it is time we have to pass the same-sex marriage law.
Who are the conservatives?
Mainly religious background. It's like some belief that it's practiced in every family that we have to honor our ancestors, and so the very important obligations of the family members is that they must have offsprings, they must have children, so they can pass on the family line. and that's a way to honor your ancestors. So the same-sex couples faced a lot of backlashes in Taiwan. Is that many elderly people are worried that if we pass same-sex marriage law, then they will have no children in the family. But very interesting because there are a lot of young people in Taiwan support same-sex marriage. So back then, if you look at the online survey, you can see there is a very obvious age gap, against or pro for same-sex couples to adopt children. The discussion was undergoing the same time as people are discussing same-sex marriage law. So there are some foster institutions in Taiwan. They come out first to say that, from the point of view of their profession, they think same-sex marriage couple can be good parents as heterosexual couples. So there was also a debate to debate that if same-sex couple can be foster parents, because under Taiwanese law, if a child is born, then the birth mother is deemed the mother of the child, and also if the mother is in marriage, then the mother's husband is deemed the child's father. So if you are a same-sex couple, and then if you're a lesbian couple, then one of them gave birth to a children, then the birth mother is the mother. It's okay. It's no question. But the problem is that the other mother cannot establish a relationship with the child. So the other mother has to undergo a process to adopt the child. So they have to undergo this process, and this process may take half a year or over 1 year. Then they can legally be parenting children. Many same-sex couple in Taiwan go overseas to have children. They might do surgery, artificial technology to get pregnant overseas because it's still not legalized in Taiwan. So they get pregnant in another country and they come back to Taiwan.
In which countries do they go?
It's not many countries might be their destination, like US. There was an event in 1987 in Taiwan. There are a lot of women worker protest because they work for Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall in Taiwan. It is a place that to memorize the founding father of Republic of China. So it is situated in Taipei City. And back then, it was very important place that the national leader meet with foreign guests. The job of these women are to receive the guests and make introductions. And they signed with Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall. They signed their labor contract, and their contract says that if these workers, if these female workers get married, or if they have children, they have to quit their job, themselves. You have to quit your job yourself. And if you pass 30 years old and you have not yet get married or not have yet have a child, then also you have to quit your job. So that was written in their labor contract. But it is not, the contract is actually, it's not an exceptional case in Taiwan back then, because many employers signed such contract with their female workers back then, especially banks, financial systems. Many female workers signed such contract. And so they come to the street and they protest. They think it is gender discrimination. And Awakening Foundation, our board member, also support them. And many of our board members are college professors and lawyers. And some of our board members, lawyers, they read the labor contract and they try to find some clauses in our law system to see if they can get these cases to the judicial system. But they cannot find any clauses that says it's unlawful. So our board members formed a team in our foundation, and then they wrote a law draft called now called Gender Equality Employment Act, and they drafted this law amendment in 1988. And they push it to the Congress to try to persuade the Congress to pass this law. But the process is very long. It takes more than 10 years. So this law actually passed in 2002. So we have now a Gender Equality Employment Act in Taiwan. And the act forbids any gender discrimination in the workplace. So if you are in a job interview, and if you recorded that the employers ask you if you are female, if they ask that, do you have any plans to get married or to have children? Then if you recorded they say such a thing, you can take it to the court. Then the court will say, no, you cannot say such a thing, so you violated the law. Taiwan's Me Too movement happened last year, so it's 2023. So it's a bit of late compared to other countries, but actually, when like in US and many Europe countries when they have Me Too movement. In Taiwan, actually, we ask ourselves why Taiwan do not have a Me Too movement, but the movement happens in 2023. But there was a background actually. The background is that in the first month of 2024 is our presidential election, and it's a very huge election, a very huge event in Taiwan. So during the last year, their election has a very heated situation in Taiwan. And also under that situation, there was a show, a drama in Taiwan. Aired in Taiwan. It can be seen on Netflix, and it called I didn't remember the English name, but in Chinese it is 人选之人, and the drama actually is a kind of a political drama, and depicted a fictional party in Taiwan, and it has a very specific gender sensitive point of view concerning that drama. So it is told the story that how female works in a political party strive for her work and her life, and how she participates in public debate and in election. And the show also depicts some sceneries of sexual harassment in the political arena, and it actually echoes some women's experiences in Taiwan. At the same time, they got into a controversial situation because they nominated a male politician who is actually not under their party, but they collaborated with him, but he has a history of sexual violence. So it caused huge trauma, especially in DPP under the women workers works for DPP. So there was a woman who worked for DPP, and she posted her experience of sexual harassment during her when she works for DPP, and she also depict how DPP handle this situation after she told her superior that the sexual harassment event, and it is not handled very well. So there was a huge backlash on the internet, and then many women started to come out to talk about their experience of sexual harassment. So it was lasted months, like 3 or 4 months. Many women talk about their stories on the internet, and some of the sexual harassment happened in the campus, but mostly the stories we can find, they happened in the workplace. And also some cases are, you can say it is a serious sexual violence crime. So but the some of them said that before the Me Too movement, they are afraid to even talk about their story, but they started to have the courage to come out to say these stories. And many celebrity, mainly men, are named that they are they are who conducted the Sexual Harassment Act. Kuomintang is considered a comparatively conservative party in Taiwan. It has a history that ruling under an authoritarian. They have an authoritarian rule history in Taiwan, and comparatively, the DPP is considered a more progressive party. It is exactly why when Me Too movement started in DPP, people are very angry because it is considered a progressive party. And the party did not handle the situation very well. So especially last year, there was a heated election, and the DPP think it is a huge crisis. And still it is a ruling party back then, so they have to handle the situation quickly. So they proposed to amend 3 laws. The 3 laws are has separate sexual harassment prevention and handling policies. So they quickly amended these 3 laws to strengthen the prevention and process of sexual harassment event. So how quick they did that? They did it in 1 month. It is common for young people to actually it is very common if 2 young people want to get married, then they have to arrange their parents to meet with each other. The parents have to meet each other, and they have to know each other, and they would assess each other if it's a right partner for our children. If they say no, then you have to, it is up to the children if they want to fight against their parents. It happens that some children will fight against their parents. The same mentality in families in Taiwan, that they honor their ancestors, and they want their children to have children and more children in the future. So that's the same thing. But it's interesting that in some academic studies in Taiwan shows that people who come from China during 1940s are actually comparatively not traditional concerning gender stereotypes, because you can see these people are uprooted in China and they migrate to Taiwan. So they actually do not have parents' pressures. Traditionally, the Chinese family value boys more than girls. They give boys more education opportunities and more. If you have a job opportunity in the family, then you give to the boys first. But from the migrant families, they tend to treat boys and girls alike. But mainly because they do not have the previous generations pressures. Because in Chinese society, they value their ancestors and they want to have children's generations after generations. It is bounded to the land of the family. So you have to pass on your generation in this land. But these people left their land. And so they come into a society that they do not know much about. But in practice, they are comparatively, they can treat their children, the boys and girls, equally. I have a child, a girl, she's 5 years old. And I studied in political science, and my thesis is actually concerning long-term care service governments in Taiwan. But I took some courses in college concerning gender issues and gender studies, and I become very interested, and I think the women's rights is cause I can participate, so I came to work in Awakening Foundation. Before I get married, I dated my now husband over 10 years, and our parents never met during this process. And my mother was very anxious because she never met the boy's mother. So my mother asked me that if you want to get married, I have to meet his mother. So we arranged their meet very, very late. And it is considered not common because once they met, then like the next month we get married. So our daughter is married to someone we are not very familiar with, and she's so anxious. So you can see the common role of parents in their child's marriage. So it's very interesting.
Are you worried or scared or about the political situation and the pressure from China?
Yes, of course, we are worried, but because we still have to face that every day. There is another country they have a goal that might someday they want to invade our country. That makes us worried, and also we know that they have a lot of policies toward Taiwan that. Some of the policies that attracted especially young people to like offer a China dream to Taiwanese young people to say that if you are friendly with China, then we can give you various opportunities. So they try to spread some false informations in Taiwan. That's our everyday. You open the news, then it is hard for us to say that is this a false information or is it a real information. So it has we think it is have a bad influence, especially toward our public discussion. So of course the situation makes us worried. So that's why we think we have to do more works to ensure the value of equality and freedom and democracy in Taiwan. Especially, we think that like our organization are focusing on gender equality. We think it is very important because in China, the the dictatorship actually are very afraid feminist movement in China.